Why do we need to re-examine our Homeland Security strategy? We're almost 7 years into this thing called the war on terror, and we're long past due for a reassessment. Exactly who is it today who threatens us? What is it that they're most likely to target, and what can we do about that? As we saw during Hurricane Katrina, we've kind of lost our focus in securing the homeland, and we haven't necessarily put our resources where they need to be. For example, today we are adding 92,000 troops to the Army and the Marine Corps to support a strategy, fighting them over in Baghdad, that is bound to change over the next year or two. Conversely, in New York City today, we have 5,000 fewer police on the streets of New York, probably the most significant target city in the United States, than we did on 9/11. We're due for a reassessment. We're due for a new strategy, and then we're due for a reallocation that makes sure that we can invest in areas in the United States to make the country as safe as it can be. What can the next administration do to begin shifting strategy in a new direction? Today, the United States is spending twice as much money to defend Iraq as it is to defend the United States homeland. So the next administration will need to focus greater attention and resource to try to make our country as safe as it can be. Chemical security be one area. It's the most significant vulnerability we face today, and right now we're in the process of regulating 6,000 chemical facilities with fewer than 100 people at the federal level. The National Guard, which is important to overseas operations, as we see in Afghanistan and Iraq, is likewise important to natural disasters here at home. The National Guard needs to restore the equipment that it's used up in places like Iraq. And likewise, if we face a pandemic or infectious disease in the future, it's quite likely that our public health system and our medical system will fail. We need to have greater investment in medical readiness and public health surveillance so that we can detect, contain, and respond to these kinds of global health disasters. What type of policies should underpin an effective Homeland Security strategy? In our report, Safe at Home, we lay out 5 strategic imperatives. First and foremost, we have to prevent terrorism attacks. Secondly, we have to reduce our vulnerability not only to terrorism, but also to a range of disasters or system disruptions that we might confront. Third, to do that, we need to rebuild our homeland defense and our national preparedness, because we know that we won't be able to stop every bad thing from occurring. Fourth, recognizing that this is a long-term challenge, we have to make sure that we have the right policies in place and then have the resources to be able to sustain effective Homeland Security over time. And fifth and last, particularly with respect to terrorism, we need to shape the international environment to actually produce fewer terrorists. We have to look at our policies and look at our programs and make sure that we are doing everything that we can to prevent the emergence of a future generation of terrorists who might threaten the United States in the future.